Hello everyone, welcome back to Plant and Nature Lover channel, where we give a lot of plant nature tips, hacks, and information. Make sure to subscribe. We love our subscribers and we are so glad that you found us today. So today we're going to actually talk about this cute little plant commonly known as the string of bananas. And it's often called string of bananas for obvious reasons, as you can see here. The individual leaves actually look like they're shaped like little bananas. Over the last few years, strings of this and strings of that have become very popular. I think this is partially because it just has this really cool vibe to it. These draping plants, they almost give like a jungle type vibe. And when I think of string of bananas, I also think of other things like string of hearts and string of pearls. And many of these string plants have similar characteristics. The actual name of this plant is Senecio radicans. And if you recognize part of this name, Senecio, you may know other types of plants in this category that are very similar to how you would take care of this plant as well. So let's get into it. This plant is considered a succulent, and as you know, with most succulents, it does not require a lot of care, but to get the most out of this plant, there are certain tips and tricks that can help promote the growth and health of your plant. So first things first, how fast does it grow? It is considered a fast-growing plant. Most people will actually grow them in hanging baskets along with some of their other strings of pearls or strings of heart, and allow them to drape down. So it almost looks like hair, plant hair, growing from the hanging basket. They can actually grow up to 3 feet long. String of bananas can produce flowers, although I have not seen these flowers. I have read that they can develop these small white colored flowers that sometimes look like they're either yellow or lavender purplish in color. And it's typically after about 2 years, and then it needs to be, of course, a healthy plant for it to grow the flowers typically. And they do have kind of a cinnamon smell, is what I've read as well, to the flowers. You really should try to avoid growing them in any temperatures under 50 degrees, and so the ideal temperature usually is 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. As far as sunlight, it's important to understand that, like many plants, these can actually get sunburned, and so I would really limit the direct sunlight. In fact, indirect sunlight's going to be best. The nice thing about these plants, as far as watering, is that the leaves, each little leaf actually stores water, and so they can go a little bit longer without water. So the important thing here is obviously not to overwater. And sometimes that's the biggest problem that people have with this, is they water too often. So you want to make sure that the soil is completely dried out before watering again. Depending on where you live and how hot your environment is, and also how much sun this plant is getting, you may need to water it anywhere from every 7 to 10 days. And of course, like most plants, you want to drastically cut back in the wintertime because that's just not good for the health of your plant. As far as propagating these plants, I have not had the best of luck propagating any kind of stringing plant for some reason, other than obviously trilling plants like pothos and philodendron. But how to do this on this plant specifically is that you would just do it from stem cuttings. This one is a little bit too young to be able to propagate. I mean, I suppose I could probably propagate from it, but typically if you're going to do this in water, there's going to be these little nodes that you're going to see, and I think that's one right there, that you're going to put in the water. So you want to make sure that you have enough of the node that it can be in the water. And you probably want more than one node. Whenever I try to propagate things, I try to get a couple nodes. You don't have to have that, but I definitely think it's a little bit more beneficial. Yeah, so you want to look for the nodes, and I'm not seeing a whole lot on here, just because this is kind of a younger plant. And yeah, so I think we got some right there, but that's how you basically would propagate from that area. According to what I've read, it takes approximately about 2 to 3 weeks for it to actually grow roots. And so I actually may do a video at some point on propagation of this plant, but for now we're just discussing about how to care for it. If your string of bananas is not doing too well, let's say it just doesn't look healthy, there's 3 main different things to think about. You could either be underwatering it, so in other words, you're obviously not watering enough, or you're overwatering it, which can increase risk for things like fungus and root rot. And then another thing is if you have it in direct light, that can create a lot of issues like drying out and sunburning of the leaves. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe for more plant hacks, tips, and information. Everyone have a good day.